made it be, by the way.
What's up, everybody? We are back, Blerd Buster, and it's me, Shalon, and we got our co-host,
K1.
All right. Tonight we are diving into Gen V season 2. Season 2. You know how we always get started. I like to start with what would you rate it 1 through 10? I would give it. Oh, dang, I didn't even think about this one. I would give it about a 7. I think I'd give it about a 7.
I say the same. I expected more from it, so definitely a 7. It wasn't necessarily not good. It just wasn't like the first one. But yeah, definitely give it a 7.
Yeah. It was definitely like you said, it wasn't bad or anything. It was cool. It was cool. It was cool. I think they did the best they could do with the circumstances surrounding Chance Perdomo. If you guys aren't on in tune on what happened with that situation, the actor sadly passed away before they could film this season. So I think they did well for what they had. I hate that we missed the chance of seeing him in this season because I think it would have been super dope. But I think for the circumstances, I think they also paid a beautiful tribute to him throughout the season in general. And I think they did the best they could do.
I mean, yeah, definitely, because I mean, you can see the gap. You can see where okay, he's not there, and what they had to do to move around and whatnot. And that's no shade on the guy that played his father, whatnot. I know his name, but I can't even think of it off the
Yeah,
top of my head. But
yeah,
he's a good actor in general. Sean Patrick Thomas. So
yeah,
he stepped in to fill that gap or whatever have you. But I mean, if you remember from the first season, it was basically looking like, yeah, he was about it there, the dad. So for them to
yeah,
make that switch is like, okay. So I'm like, yeah, okay. You're still dealing with your
yeah.
issues. That kind of makes sense and blah, blah, blah. So they made it work.
Yo, yeah, for sure. And you hit it on the head when the last season I thought too they was gonna get dad up out of here. And I think they may have probably went that route, but because of the tragedy that happened, that I think they really had to lean into his character to sort of carry the storyline through. So yeah, for sure. How did you think overall, as far as the storyline, did you feel like it was something that was off with the storyline, or do you think it still flowed pretty nicely? I still think, um, overall with the circumstances, it still didn't feel like it was like you could still feel like, of course they had to like kind of come together to try to figure out how they were gonna come together with the story this season, but it didn't feel like to me how some other shows or other movies happen where you can kind of feel it disjointed. It still felt very cohesive to me.
I mean, yeah, for sure. Because I mean, even when it came to like how we all tried to escape, and they saying like Marie, you left us or whatever, and he stayed to make sure we was okay and died doing so and things of that nature. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I was like, I can roll with it or whatever have you. And
Yeah.
then the way they inserted polarity as far as like, okay, I'm back now. Where's my son? And blah blah blah. Because the thing about it is, with the new villain that they introduced or whatever, the way he talked about him, it was like, yeah. So okay, it works. You got something to be mad about for real. So I mean, like I said, they did the best with what they had. And but I do feel like coming into season 2, there was like a chunk missing somewhere. I don't know what it is. It was just like in transitioning here, it was like they just missed a big part to tell us, and we basically just had to roll with it. But there was a chunk missing, and I can't quite put my finger on it because it was like how season 1 ended. There's something there that y'all didn't show us, but maybe it was purposeful.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree, and I know exactly what you're talking about. And I think maybe it was because of Chance passing away, because it would have been dope to see their time down there, in the place. I forgot the name of the place they were in. Dang, it'll come to me. Or if you remember the place they were in, where they were sort of like in that lab sort of area. I think maybe if Chance, still was here with us, they probably would have gave us more insight. That may have been like maybe probably the first half of season two, maybe would have showed us like what they had to go through and everything. So we kind of had to rely on the actors telling us what was happening versus us seeing it. So I hate that we missed out on that. But again, like you said, I think they did the best that they could do. And setting it up, saying, Chance pretty much or not Chance, but his character pretty much sacrificed himself trying to get them out of there, and sort of the weight and even the guilt with Marie. That's another thing. We're gonna get to that. She pissed me off this season, but so yeah, I agree with you on that for sure. I think if he was still here, they probably would have dived in there, because it did kind of feel like a chunk of that was missing when we got into the season for sure.
Yeah, and I mean they could have very well played it off kind of like they did with Wakanda Forever. Even though Chadwick wasn't physically there, they made these
Mhm.
different scenes or whatever have you to show you like, hey, this is what happened. Now we're gonna jump into the story. So even if it was a body double sitting there, using his powers, and you got the head, blanked out or whatnot, something could have been there to kind of fill that gap. Because like you said, we just pretty much relied on the characters to kind of tell us what happened because we didn't see it for ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I think that would have been dope, honestly. Like if it was done correctly, like you said, Wakanda Forever, it kind of opened up to, and if they even could have did that, like it kind of opens into, and everybody, you don't necessarily show what happened, obviously, but like just I think it would also add more of an emotional weight. Not saying that it was already there, but I think it would have been dope to sort of show it, but not show it, like you're saying in Wakanda Forever. So I definitely agree with you on that, because like you said, it kind of felt like a chunk was missing, but of course we get it. How did you feel with just sort of the character progression with Marie? I forgot the other, they just, my mind is slipping, but the rest of the game.
Yeah, so what we got: Marie, Emma, Kate, Jordan Lee, and Sam. And then
Mhm.
that's another thing. Sam, his story kind of was kind of rushed in as well. Because the last time you seen him, they were taking over the school or whatnot. And he told Kate like, "Hey, wipe my memories. I don't want to feel none of this or
Mhm.
whatever have you." But with Marie's character or whatnot, I felt like it was just a lot of unnecessary baggage in my eyes. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it just felt like from her it was just like a lot of unnecessary baggage. And she was staying, based on the show, she was staying on the low for a while, and nobody could find where she was at and things of that nature. And I don't know. It just everything seemed so fluid as far as like, okay, I'm on the run. Okay, I'm back in the school. We on the run again. We back in the school. I was like, how many chances y'all getting? Like that was kind
Right.
of that that was kind of my thing throughout. I'm like, how many chances y'all getting? And you go back and forth or whatever have you. And then even when the other characters like Emma and Jordan, when they got out of the bunker hospital place or whatever, they was met with this bee woman or whatever, in which I don't understand what was her purpose as far as superheroes goes. I was just like, what is the purpose? Because with you, if you sting somebody, you dead. So why are you here? But I mean, outside of that, that's how the beginning. That's how my impressions were in the beginning.
Oh yeah, agree. I agree with you. And again, it just goes back to what we were saying. It just feels like some things were either not touched on enough, or just felt like something was missing. Because I'm with you, the B lady, I thought at one point she was gonna get got at some point in the series. I didn't know when, but I just felt like that was gonna happen. Another thing I felt like they kind of didn't explore, and I may be tripping, was the whole resistance type thing. With the people on the other end, where they were mainly on Homelander's mental, how he was thinking, and that whole thing with the resistance. I felt like that kind of, they touched on it, but we didn't really dive into it. And it was kind of like, then it turned into, okay, it focused on Marie and Godolkin and stuff like that. So again, I don't know if they well, I don't even think there's gonna be another well, it may be a season. We'll touch on that. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I know they're just gonna jump back into The Boys season 5 at this point. So, but they didn't really touch on that. Um Marie, I I do like how they finally started pushing for her backstory and more of like what her purpose was, because I was just kind of like in season 1, I felt like there was a bigger purpose for her, but I was just kind of like, I don't know how they're going to tie it in there, because at first it kind of just seemed like her powers were gross. And but now, like, then when they start digging into like her, what she can do with her powers, and you start to see, oh dang, like Marie might be him, like the person that can go against Homelander. So I like that aspect of it. But I'm with you, it just seemed like, and I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but when you have episodes that are only like what, 8 to 10, how, I don't know how much more we can focus on sort of like you said, the baggage aspect of things. Like, okay, we get it, her family hates her for some she literally had no control of. All right, one episode is enough, okay? Then you have the sister, blaming her, and it's like, okay, we get it. um then I feel like even with the other characters, I was kind of thrown off by Sam and Kate, because I was like, I thought that was going to be explored more. 'Cause I'm like, essentially they were kind of taken under not Homelander's wing per se, but I just wasn't expecting them to get off so easy, like you said. It was like, okay, so most of the time people get killed for some of the stuff that y'all are doing. Y'all are like legit rebelling at this point. So I get it with you. And again, it could just be because chance, that situation, maybe they kind of had to just figure it out. I get it, but those are just my thoughts.
No, I mean it definitely was a weird dynamic because with Sam and Kate or whatnot, after they took control of the school and things of that nature, whatever. Now they looked at as heroes, and it was just the whole dynamic was just weird about it all because you got Kate still trying to get back into the graces of her friends that she betrayed or whatnot, and Sam pretty much is not knowing what the hell going on. Like I will say they took a lot off of Sam because in the first season they was like, okay, he crazy, he loopy, he see puppets and all this stuff, or whatever. Apparently he doesn't have those issues anymore, and he's just working through things or whatever have you. But outside of that, with them, like it seemed like they were connected to the powers that be, but not for real. Because when you get introduced to Cipher, apparently Kate's supposed to be working up under him, but then the whole time she's trying to figure out how to help her friends out and things of that nature, or whatever have you. Because Cipher's interjection was kind of like masking everything else that went on. Like, okay, we know we didn't give you this story. We're gonna drop Cipher in here and try to, use him to fill, some of the plot holes or whatever have you. But I
Yeah.
mean, outside of that, I will say Kate character was broken. Like, she went from, trying to help, went from losing her boyfriend and then all that little messy stuff going on when she, basically had a love triangle going on in the first season. Then you come into this now, and then she lost her arm, and then after that, like I said, she's trying to save them, but then her powers get distorted, and now, like I said, there's a lot of back and forth with her as well. I feel like a lot of her wasn't really explored as far as how she felt and what was her real motive because throughout the season, like I kind of felt what Maria was feeling like. Nah, I wouldn't really trust her for real because she ain't really gave you no reasons to trust her otherwise. It's like there's nothing concrete with her morals. It's like whatever
Yeah.
she got to do is what she gonna do. So yeah,
Oh, yeah, sure. I agree with you on that. Even with Emma, it kind of felt like, and it could just be me. It kind of felt like in some ways Emma was trying to be the glue that held everybody together. As far as like, their group. Um, and I even wish we would explore more of her even getting past having to, because I still don't really know if she's really gotten past having to throw up to get smaller. Or I know at one point it seemed like she kind of figured out how to get around that, but they didn't show that either. Which I thought was a little I thought it was a missed opportunity. I don't know the reason why. Maybe it was like budget or whatever the case may be. Maybe it was runtime. I don't know, but I would have loved to see that because I think that's a crucial part of her character development if we had saw that. Um, and just overall, I don't think we had enough time to sort of dive into what she had going. I know even with Andre's father, Polarity, we saw their dynamic where they've gotten closer, which I thought was nice to see. But I would even like to see more of their relationship. And obviously not in a weird way, but just sort of like maybe another father figure that she didn't have. I would have liked to see that. Even with Jordan Lee, or I can't remember if that's I can't remember what he revealed at that pep rally or event, but even with that, I thought that was kind of crazy that it wasn't like super severe consequences with that. So I was just sitting there like, I thought they was about to get dude up out of here. And once I find what he revealed, and you may remember, but I thought that could be explored more.
Who were we talking about? Who they're about to get up out of there?
Jordan Lee.
Jordan Lee, Jordan Lee, Jordan Lee. Jordan
I'm
Lee's
trying to
character.
remember.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost on that one.
Oh, it was with Kate. I think he revealed that he was the one that harmed Kate or something. Remember
Yeah, uh huh.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
that was
hurt
like
Kate and
temperamental.
then he revealed it at the event they had at the school, and I thought they could have explored that more. I thought maybe there could have been dire consequences more with that situation. But again, it just kind of felt overall. I think they were trying to squeeze so much into this season to help pivot into the final season of The Boys that I think some things sort of just honestly got lost in translation, to be real.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, if we being for real, 8 episodes wasn't really enough. Like, there was so much they tried to pack into it, and just those 8 episodes just wasn't doing it or whatnot. Because to your point with Jordan Lee's character or whatnot, the thing about it was Jordan Lee and Emma went to go find Marie, and they found
Mhm.
Marie, and then in the process of finding Marie or whatever, whatever Kate was secretly, behind them trying to figure out like how can she help. Excuse me, where's Marie and all that or whatever have you, and then end up getting her head busted because they couldn't trust her. And I think Jordan was just trying to carry that weight because it's like Jordan has the qualities of a leader, but
Yeah.
essentially doesn't know what to do in certain situations, but has all the qualities of a leader. But like I said, sometimes when something comes a knocking, they just like, okay, I'm frozen. I don't think I'm built for this, whatever have you.
Yeah.
Because Jordan has so much doubts, within themselves or whatever. And like I said, with all that being said, Jordan just got tired of hiding. Jordan, to me, listening to Jordan's background, it just feels like I've been hiding all my life or whatever, and I'm tired of hiding or whatnot. And that's what seemed what was their focal point or whatever is just being known and letting it be known what's going on, what's happening with them. But unfortunately, Cipher took that situation like bet you and Marie gonna fight, not knowing that these two are now love interests or whatever. So now it just mess up the whole dynamic. Cause like I don't want to have to fight you. I don't want to have to fight you either. I love you. I love you too. Like it was just a lot going on with that. So yeah. So like I said, that dynamic was just kind of back and forth.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of Jordan, I think they did a great job of showing more of their powers because I think in the first season we didn't really get that, but then I in this season I liked how they switched between his female and male version. Like you see the female version, she has some type of like powers with her hands, and then when it's like the male version, it's like I guess he's more of the brute strength, and I like that because it showed how strong Jordan really is. I don't think we got a lot of that in season one. Um, and I think even with the other characters, Polarity, I like that we got to see more of how strong he was. Even though I feel like we got some of that in season one, but I think a lot of that was hindered by him having them seizures and stuff. I think with this season, especially towards the end when Marie fixed them, I thought that was good to see that. Um, who else? Who else? Of course, we spoke on Marie. I thought that was dope how they kind of set up, showing us like dang, what was that project? Oh, Odessa going into that. I absolutely loved that. I think the one person, and I just spoke on this, that was lacking. We understand Kate was just all you said it perfectly. She was broken this season. I mean, but Emma, I would have. I feel like they dropped the ball a little bit on my girl. I'm like, I would have loved to see, like, give me some character development. Sam, I'm a little conf- I won't say confused, but I'm trying to figure out. And I may be jumping ahead, but the Viking dude he fought, I thought they were setting up Sam to be, if not as strong as Homelander, pretty close. And I'm just trying to think how the Viking dude could keep up with Sam. I don't know, but that's just me. I don't know. Maybe you feel differently.
I don't know. I mean, the Viking dude is pretty powerful or whatnot because I mean, Cipher wouldn't have brung him out to train the people if he wasn't powerful, or whatever have you. So you got to have somebody that can take all type of powers or whatever have you. But I mean, Sam to me in the first season they made him seem like yeah, like he's super powerful, but also his character is more so Superboy, if you will, because he
Mhm.
can't fly, but he can jump long distances or whatever have you. And it seemed like when him and the Viking went head to head, it seemed like he was kind of lacking. I'm like, I don't know. I don't see you throw niggas like 50 feet. Like, what's going on? Like, but I think it was just more so them trying to pull away from his character and focus on other things. And then even like you said with Emma, you could tell they were trying to progress her in that season or whatever, but at some point pulled it back because they tried to pack everything else in and had to push her story out. So that's to me that's essentially how it went. And then one thing I love about the dynamic in this season or whatever, you get to see that even if a superhero isn't all powerful, they're still strong. So like even when you had them fighting, fighting it out in the training course or whatever, like all these other superheroes taking hits, no matter how powerful you are or less powerful you are, all of them was taking hits. So that just kind of lets you know like being a superhero in this universe, you have some type of healing factor because they can take a hit. So yeah.
Sure. Oh, for sure, for sure. And I even liked how they we got introduced to even more characters this season as well too. Some of them powers were a little questionable, but um nonetheless, I'm happy that we got to I'm happy that we got to explore other sort of these classmates powers and stuff like that, because I mean it just playing into Godolkin, which that was a whole thing too. But ooh, and I may be jumping ahead, but I liked how they had some of the powers that were just completely just stupid, quite frankly, and then you had some of the better powers, and it went into his whole philosophy of like who is worthy, like certain powers that are worthy enough to be at this school, and sort of like what he said, pruning, or he used another word, but all in all, I liked how they showed us the different powers and stuff like that. I say that to say, and let me know if I'm jumping ahead, how did you feel about Godolkin's portrayal and the whole reveal and sort of the twist and all of that? Because I was a little thrown off until I think the season right before they revealed it. I was like, oh, you know what? This makes sense.
I mean, if I could back up some, the character or the villain of the show in this season, Cipher or whatnot, you see him throughout or whatever, and then you got Marie and everybody else trying to figure out what he's hiding, like because Marie said I can feel his blood, like he has no superpowers, and essentially she was right, not knowing this man was being controlled the whole time. So you see this man, taking this corpse of a body that's burnt all to hell, bathing it and all that stuff, whatever. Then you got Shorty from the boys that pull up. What's her name? Ah, can't think of her name off the top of my head. But she can pretty much not predict the future, but she can predict like eventualities or whatever. So she'll probably give somebody a direction like if you do this and do that, it'll yield this here. But she pulled up, so you see her and Cypher get into it. They start having sex, and then you see the body that's in like the chamber just sitting there, just like loving this. I'm looking. I'm like, I mean, okay, cuckolding. I understand, but I was like, it's got to be deeper than that, you know. And to your point, when the reveal came, I was like, okay, yeah, now all that makes sense, or whatever. But that just shows how powerful he was. Like whole time, you controlling this man remotely. You working from home, in this man throughout. Like you are working remotely and nobody is none the wiser. You're even using your powers while controlling this man while you're not even there. I was just like, yeah, that's some nasty work. Yeah.
Y- Yeah, and I just found who you were speaking of, Sister Sage. Um, yeah, but I wasn't surprised at her because she was a little freaky deak in the boys as well too, with her and the deep they whole situation she had going on. But I'm with you. I was like, we always gonna come across like some weird stuff in the boys anyway, and so Gen V is no different. So when I saw old her and Cypher doing it in front of the dude that was burnt to a crisp, I'm just like, of course. And then like you said, once they put everything together, you're like, okay, that makes sense. I still have questions on just everything, because for one, I'm like, okay, when he was Cypher and he was beating up on himself. Of course, at first we thinking that's his daddy or somebody, or he taking care of somebody. But then I'm thinking, okay, so once it's revealed that he's actually Godolkin, I'm like, was he beating up on himself because he's like, I just hate this version of myself? Or okay, like, I can take that, but it's just still certain things that I got questions on. And once they pop in my head, because it keeps leaving my head, because I'm thinking about everything else, I'll get to it. But I don't know what you thought about that whole thing, because I'm like, I don't know.
No, I mean the Dokken was whacked out. So I mean that's what it is. The man was whacked out. Like I wholeheartedly believe he was beating on himself and all that stuff. Whatever. I wholeheartedly believe he felt like at the time he was less than. Like look at you. He said he called himself something. Called himself some baby, something dumpster baby or something like that. This man was shitting on himself and beating on himself, spitting on himself and all that. I was just like, and then when we found a reveal, I'm like, oh, you just a freak ass nigga. Like, that's just what you own. Because even when Cypher got to the point, it was like, yo, I'm about to end it all. And in his face, I was like, okay, I was just like, okay. So yeah, it was a weird dynamic, but nah, he was definitely controlling him and doing that to himself at the same time. Because once Polarity and everybody was fighting Cypher, and he got out of his trance, he was like, wait, I'm not him. Like I've been controlled this whole time. It was like, so this whole time, that's all right, all right.
For sure, yeah, yeah, and I'm with you. Like when I'm like, okay, man, come on now. But it's a testament of like you said, how powerful Godolkin is, and just the fact that he's like literally, like you said, I love that you said this dude's working from home, like legit, just controlling stuff. And I thought it was dope that they even touched base on him controlling Marie, and how they said he was trying to control Marie when he was down in that underground secret lab, and he couldn't because she was so powerful. And then it was even, I think I heard another nerd talk about him possibly trying to control Homelander. I can't remember if it was actually in the show they touched on this, or I heard somebody. But I think even someone said if he tried to control him, Homelander, he may have ended up popping his head or some shit. I don't know. But regardless, I think that was really cool to just see how powerful Godolkin was. The fact that he was just doing all this stuff. He's literally putting the puzzle pieces together. Uh, but not to give him all the credit on that, he also had Sister Sage helping him put all of these pieces together, which I think she's a dope character too, because she even got Homelander in a chokehold. Like she be manipulating the crap out of Homelander. But also, since we're talking about Sister Sage, I also wanted to touch on what I thought was interesting, the fact of her not seeing all of this coming. However, someone made a great point. It was someone else talking about this show. Another nerd was saying that it may have been her emotional attachment to Godolkin that sort of clouded her thinking, and maybe she couldn't see him sort of uh veering off of the plan they had, because they had this whole plan and he just went haywire and went to the next thing. So what were your thoughts on that?
I mean, it would really be interesting to know, I guess, the length of the relationship, maybe, or how invested she really was in it. Because to me, Sister Sage has always been for herself. So it was kind of
Mhm.
weird to see her in a state where she was like, oh, like maybe you could come live with me and stuff like that. Well, I was like, you good? Like she might be for real in love. Like like you might really like this man. So to see her, kind of act the way she did or whatnot, so it seemed like she really did care for him or whatever. But even with that being said, when she seen things weren't going the way they planned, she was like, yeah, let me go ahead and fix this. I know if I do this here, this is gonna disrupt that and blah 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 or whatever. But I feel like Godolkin, even though he was so drunk with power or whatever, I feel like he should have saw that coming. Like your whole power is manipulating people and getting in their heads and things of that nature. So why is it that you wouldn't look at Sister Sage and feel like, oh, you gonna flip on me at some point? You know what I mean? And you know what? Really, that's really my confusion with Sister Sage in general. For anybody that's powerful that she has in a chokehold, like Homelander, for instance, like this dude can snap her when he feel like it, but for some reason she's so valuable that nobody want to fool with her or whatever. So it's just I don't know. She's her. So, mm.
And I'm happy you brought that up because that threw me off too. And I almost thought like it was a joke almost. I didn't really take it serious when she was talking about she can move him into the Vought Tower and she would just need to speak with Homelander first. And she really was trying to like wife this dude up, and it kind of threw me off because I'm just kind of like, I always view her as manipulative. Like always. I always feel like she has like another alternative to her actions or how she thinks, which I mean that's pretty much in the boys, that's what she's given us. Like even with the deep, it was always just some manipulative tactic. Homelander, the same thing. Now I don't know if maybe Godolkin, uh, her and Godolkin had this relationship where they really were able to talk deep about things, and maybe the route she was trying to go is really what she's trying to achieve in life, or whatever the case may be. But that did just throw me off. I kind of was like, who is this? Like, is this really Sister Sage or what? And I'm like you, and I don't know if it was just maybe the writers dropped the ball per se, but I'm with you. As powerful as Godolkin is, and maybe he's not what we cracked him up to be, but I'm with you. I would think he would kind of be two steps ahead. Like, this is a possibility that can happen because he was very cunning and clever when he was Cypher. I mean, you couldn't get nothing past Cypher. Like, Cypher was already 10 steps ahead of everybody. No matter what they did, what they said, he already knew. Like, he had eyes on everything. So the fact that, Sister Sage was able to sort of, for one, I guess when her plan changed, she went and got polarity and low key let him go and take care of Godolkin. I, I'm gonna just chop it up as maybe the writers dropped the ball on there. Maybe they didn't expect people like us to really dissect all of this and be like, now wait a minute, because I'm even with Sister Sage. Now people are saying emotionally, like I touched on before, maybe she just got maybe just emotions, her hurt clouded her powers or what. But even with that, I'm like, it really says like I just don't see her as that person. But they all got their flaws, so maybe so. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's the moniker of just that the boys' universe. Is just flawed people. But yeah, like you said, to your point, like I didn't buy it. I was like, I'm like, no, that ain't you, not for real. Like I'm like, what's got you so emotionally attached or whatever? Maybe it's a intellect thing or whatever have you. But like you said, when he was just Cipher, like you said, always 10 steps ahead. The kids tried to manipulate him. Boom, got y'all here. Just do this here, whatever have you. So it's like it's just hard to say. And then who's to say now that Godolkin is dead that she won't take up their original plans? Well, she won't get the next person and start manipulating them and tell them things they need to do to get to where she's looking for. Because even in the boys, she was looking to get to somewhere. We don't know, but she was looking to get to somewhere, and she did whatever she needed to do to manipulate people to do so. So it's just it's really hard to say. Like I said, it's maybe just something that'll be further explored in the boys or whatever have you. But it's just, I just wasn't buying it. Like, nah, it's just about everybody I've seen you with, you manipulated. Even the deep, and the deep was more so just like she told this man, "Hey, I need you to put a hole in my brain so I can be dumb enough to fuck you." I was like, "Damn." I said, "That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. I gotta lower my standards so I can let you hit. Like that's crazy to me."
I'm telling you, you made a great point. I'm telling you, that's why I didn't buy it, and I would have loved for them to even show. Maybe they'll do it in the boys, but I would love to show for them to show us how her and Godolkin even got together. Like, how did that happen? How did y'all even cross paths? Was this even something that she made up, came to get, created a plan in her head? Maybe because she's always trying to manipulate things. Maybe she had the idea in her head. Maybe I need to uh reach out to Godolkin and do this. Maybe he was a pawn in her plan at first and she ended up getting caught up or whatever, but we don't know that. And I would have loved for them to explore that. Again, maybe it was the runtime, but also what we talked about on Blerd is I hate that these newer shows, the episodes are so freaking short. I miss the days of having 20 episodes, just you have a mid-season finale and then it goes back again. Like, you can't squeeze everything in there. So it's like a lot of this season you're missing backstories on stuff. And like you said, they may touch on it in the boys. I hope they do. But I would even love to see how that even came together, or give us a glimpse of what your plan is. Like, what was your plan in helping Godolkin? Like, what was the bigger picture here? So I'm with you. I hope they touch base on that. But I definitely wasn't buying her sort of love, I'm in love and now I'm done sort of thing. So I'm like, girl, like, why are you getting caught up like this? Um, but to speak on Sister Sage, the other recurring characters that made guest appearances in the show, Annie, who plays Starlight. What'd you think of that? I thought that was a pretty dope, appearance.
So I'm gonna be real blunt, right? So she probably showed up maybe twice in the season, right? No, she showed
Yeah.
up first in the first season and then in this season here. Shorty has done so much stuff to her face, like she don't even look the same no more. Like when it got to the end of it, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course that's not a part of the show, but it threw me off because I'm looking at, I'm like, you
Yeah.
don't even look the same no more. Like I understand that's
Yeah.
a struggle, y'all know resistance, but mm,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But I mean, seeing her reoccurrence was cool. You can tell that her character is a little more fearless than she once was before. And that's good to see. But what surprised me to see was what's that? Okay. But what surprised me was seeing I know this man name ain't Speed. What's this man name?
A Train,
Yeah,
or are
A
you talking about the
Train. A Train. Yeah,
yeah.
seeing him, I ain't gonna say it caught me off guard, but he was slow as far as becoming a part of a resistance because he was always scared that Homelander, was gonna kill him, or hurt his family or whatever have you. So to see him pop up at the end of it, I was like, okay, you finally. I'm hoping that you're finally, get into it or whatever, and y'all not scared to, fight back or whatever have you. But what was funny to me is since this was so superhero focused, I probably would have loved to see like one of the actual the boys of one of the humans kind of pop in at some point to show that they're a part of it or whatever have you. But it was just all just superhero based. Like it was really this whole season was really fuck humans like throughout. Like even when you had baby girl working at the little cafe or whatever, like you had superheroes basically slapping shouting around like you putting this resistance stuff and propaganda around here, like get up out of here or whatever. And they just wasn't having it. But like I said, but outside of that, it was good to see them, and I'll be interested to see how these combined resistances are gonna do together. Whatever, how that dynamic is gonna be because these are college kids and these are grown adults, and so it's gonna be funny to kind of see how that works in their favor or whatever. Because even when they met up with what's his name? He was the VP. He was the president of what? Uh, Casares.
Uh,
I forgot what his
Stan
name.
Edgar.
Yeah, Stan Edgar. Because even his appearance, even his parents was interesting to see or whatever because he had a whole bunker that he was hid in or whatever, which was surprising to me because I think I said this before. I'm like, how do we know this man don't have no powers? But from what we're seeing, he don't have powers. He just know how to stay out the way. However he do it, he do it. And now
Right.
his daughter's daughter. He's using her as basically muscle, and she got tentacles and shit coming out of her mouth and destroying niggas or whatever. So it was interesting to see him come back as well. So he's gonna probably play a big part when it comes to the boys when they cross back over. So just interesting to see those characters come into play.
For sure. I'm with you. I would have loved to see. I thought it was dope that they sort of tied it all together at the end. However, it would have been I wish my thing is I wish they would have had Starlight and other people sort of make more appearances in the season, maybe towards the end when everything's sort of hitting the fan with everything because I felt like the ending would have made it more impactful for me. I also would have loved to see, like, I'm with you, seeing more of like, shoot, maybe not Butcher. Butcher's on some shit. I don't know. Butcher's kind of like, maybe have Hugh, not Stewie, Huey. Is that his name? Am I tripping?
Yeah, that's right.
Hugh. Okay, Huey. Maybe have even Huey show up, or Mother's Milk, or our other guy.
You talking about Frenchie?
Frenchie.
Mm-hmm.
Even have I would have liked to see like him show because like I'm with you is like it was very soup oriented this season, which I don't mind, but I would have loved to see like some of the other people in the boys cast that are obviously a part of the resistance, just to see them. Even though like I do love A Train as well too, and Starlight, we saw her multiple times this season as well too, but I'm with you. It's kind of like it's great to see A Train, of course, because I think towards the end of season one, I think one scene Homelander was like actually trying to look for old dude, and they said he gone, like we can't find him. So it's dope to see that he definitely is for sure in the resistance, but I would have loved to see more of the gang. um what else? What else? What else? Um, I thought it was dope to see OG Stan Egger. I can't pronounce his name. I'm not going to butcher this actor's name. But I think it was dope to see him. He's always just a dope actor, and I just anything he's in, you already know he's gonna kill his role. So I thought that was dope to see him. I'm still because he's another manipulative person as well too. And for someone, he may or may not have powers. They never revealed it. I don't know if he does or not. But do be manipulating people and having people in the chokehold, like Sister says. Shoot, I don't know how he does it. Homelander is afraid of dude. Homelander is not gonna touch dude. I don't know how he does it, but it was dope to see him. I am. I honestly think he wants to manipulate Marie, like he has done Homelander. I wouldn't be surprised if that was his whole plan. Um, this season. I wish we would have explored more of his purpose in this season as well too, but I get it. We probably won't get more of him into next season. Um, it definitely had what's her name? Victoria Newman's daughter was in it, as you mentioned, with the tentacles. So which her powers are nasty. It is what it is. But so that was dope to see that, how they tied that in. Another person I wanted to touch on was Black Noir, and I guess they're calling him two Black Noir two because the first one, if you guys remember, got murked by Homelander. So that was cool to see too because I was like I with Polarity, I'm like, oh, he talks, but he was talking in the previous boy season too, so I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, his character dynamic is funny. I don't know if they're gonna ever expand on what he is or what he does, or even if he has powers. We've yet to really realize whether he got powers or not. He got the suit, but we don't know that he has powers for real because even in the last season he was in, he was just like, "We doing this? We killing folks and all this or whatever." It's like, where you been at? But his character was a trip because he over here trying to get a whole selfie with Polarity and stuff like that. Polarity just listening to him talk. He's just like, yeah, that's cool. So you can talk now. Like, wait a minute. Like this wasn't a thing before or whatever. So, that character in itself to me is just interesting or whatever. But like you said, there was a lot of things there that I feel like they'll expand more on boys. Maybe that's what they're doing. They're saving a lot of that for the boys. Because even with Stan, you know, even though he doesn't have powers or whatever, I mean, honestly, I think his superpower is just gaslighting. I think that's what his superpower is or whatever have you. But you can tell he is real smart or whatever. There's some things, you know, he found out that he didn't divulge to the kids or whatever. But the whole time where they talking about Godolkin and everything like that, he's reading through these notes and text or whatever. He was like, there's something that he knows that he's not putting out there yet or whatever have you. So you don't be the president of VOT and not knowing secrets. So he got his own plan to either get on top or break the establishment down, one or the other. But for someone to be on top like he was, he not finna go down without a fight.
Oh yeah, for sure. He has a plan. As I said, I wouldn't be surprised because he wanted Marie. He was like, I want you, and then she was just like, well, if I go, everybody else got to go. So of course he kind of probably was like, well, hell, the more the merrier, but I want you. And he's probably also viewing like he was the one who gave them information on more information on Project Odessa. Like, hey, there was one the two successful cases was in the 80s, it was Homelander and it was you. So I think he's looking at her being his sort of soup to rival Homelander. Like I if I can manipulate her, I can probably get I can be back on top at VOD. Um and then to touch on your point with Black Noir, I honestly don't know. I know he was strong and it could have been the first Black Noir. I think with this one, I can't remember. I think he may be strong because I don't know if you remember last season, I think it was Homelander told them to beat up or kill these fans. They were like in a room or something, and it was the Deep and Black Noir and Homelander, and I think it was Homelander made them kill them people. And I think A Train at that point was kind of like, bro, what? So maybe his power is maybe he got some strength to him. I don't know. I do know they deviated a bit from the comics, as I remember. And I thought this was gonna be like a big reveal. Black Noir actually was supposed to be Homelander's clone. I don't know why they changed it. I think it would have been dope, but I don't know why they changed it. I still haven't read up on that and see what the reason for that was. I don't know.
Yeah, man, because a lot of people keep forgetting that a lot of this stuff is based off of like DC, lore or whatever have you. And in DC lore, even Superman had a clone that was there to defeat him if needed or whatever have you. So, yeah, I don't know where they're going with that. I don't know why they're deviating. But I don't know. It's just kind of we're kind of at the hook of their pen at this point because now we just need to figure out what's next or whatever have you because like you
Yeah.
said, Black Noir, he the new one, he probably does have powers, because who just jump out of nowhere on top of a car and stab somebody. So he ain't no normal person just doing that or whatever. So he must have some type of power or whatever have you. But it's just always funny to me. It seems like the seasons for the boys and even these two seasons for Gen V is all about how can we stop Homelander. And I feel like you have powerful enough people to stop Homelander. So I'm not understanding what's the stoppage or whatever. Because I mean, essentially, this boys' season is going to be the last season, so this is where they wrap everything up or whatever have you. But I just feel like you had what's his name, dude that used to play in Supernatural, Chase, forget his name, but he played the older version of Homelander essentially. Like he was essentially Homelander's dad, and he still wasn't powerful enough to defeat him or whatnot. And now all eyes is on Marie. Expect her to be the next superpower or whatever have you. But I just don't know. I mean, now that she's coming into her power now, that she knows there's more she can do with it or whatever have you. It's just it'll be interesting to see. Otherwise, it's not gonna be an easy fight as always. Where Homelander he don't go down without a couple of people dying. So we'll definitely see because I feel like with that new season or whatever, polarity is gonna play a big part in it because I think how they ended the season, like I think now he's gonna be the one that's over Godolkin essentially. Since there's no Cipher, since there's no Godolkin, I think he's gonna essentially sit in the seat and be over that school or whatever have you. So it's gonna be interesting to see what that dynamic is gonna be like, and especially now that his powers are back in check. Because let's not sleep on him. Polarity is powerful. Even Godolkin was like, I don't understand how you're able to dismiss my powers or whatever have you, but I'm gonna get to you or whatever have you. So I do think they're gonna expand on his story now. Now that he's played a bigger role in it than what he was previously supposed to. So I guess that's kind of what we're waiting on with that.
For sure. And even with what I would have loved to see as well too is like, this tensions brewing in this universe with Homelander and then also Ryan, his son. Ryan is off his rocker as well too. Thanks, Butcher. Um but I would have loved to even see maybe just even if it was like kind of in the background, like maybe the news is on and it's some BS that Homelander and Ryan has done, like some new in the world or in a city, whatever that Homelander and Ryan has done. Because like even in the last season of The Boys, dude is yelling at Homelander. Homelander blasts this dude with his little uh Ray Vision and stuff like that. I would have seen loved to see more of like that type of stuff like in the media to like show tensions of like Homelander be we already knew he was out of control, but like he was able to kind of hide it. Now it seems like he's starting to not give a damn. So I would have liked to see like news coverage of that. Even with like the resistance and like the tension, they showed a little bit of it as we talked about in the beginning of the episode. Um and it kind of seemed like they kind of dropped away from it and kind of leaned in towards more of what Marie had going on and her stuff. So I would have liked to see more of that. Um Dang, and you mentioned something about Marie that I wanted to touch base on as well too. Um Dang, it hopefully it'll come back to me. But also with Black New York, you made a great point. Ain't no person with no powers ain't gonna be jumping on a car and then literally stabbing someone through that said car with with whatever weapon he had. But yeah, to just circle back on yeah with Homelander and Ryan, I would have liked to see more of that because to me it's like if y'all gonna sort of make a point that Homelander's becoming increasingly unpredictable. He's getting out of control. Uh, it was just too centered on the school and sort of Marie and everything like that. If y'all gonna tie everything together, show me why should I be worried about Homelander? Tell me why. Instead of waiting until next season, I guess they really gonna let everything hit the fan, and maybe that's what they're waiting for. Maybe everything doesn't really hit the fan truly until The Boys season 5, which is the final season. I don't know.
I mean, that's what it's looking like because it seemed like there's all this resistance going on, but we're not really seeing anything that's going on because they didn't really show Homelander to the end of season one of Gen V, and this season we didn't see him at all or whatever. So it's just it's I would say that more like there's a lot going on in the background that we're just not seeing. And my thing is, you got all these news channels and things like that showing throughout on Gen V or whatever. Where they're hiding that we're not seeing because apparently what they're saying is like, yeah, he's off his rocker and like you said, he's unpredictable and things of that nature. Where is it? Because we're not seeing it. So like I said, they're definitely just probably keeping it in tuck. It's like, all right, boom. As soon as this boy season hit, you're gonna see what the hell he been doing or whatever. We're gonna catch you up on all the madness of Homeland or whatever have you. Because to be honest, when it came to Homeland or whatever, it felt like resistance and a resistance and a resistance because Vought was his own entity. Homelander had no control of Vought until he started, taking down some of the corporate heads essentially. Now he seems to have control, but then the whole time you got Godolkin over here doing his own thing, conducting research and testing and stuff down here that I'm pretty sure Homelander don't know nothing about. If he did, he probably would have shut it down. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy to me. It's just all these different resistances and whatnot. And it's just like, all right, what's it gonna come down to? Like, who's doing what? Who really has anything to gain or whatever have you? Because that's to me, that's where we're at with it or whatnot. So, I do hope when it hits, they blow it wide open, and we're just stunned at everything that's been going on this whole time we've been sitting in Gen V season two.
For sure. My only issue with that is because the seasons are so short. I just hope that if they do that, where we just kind of see everything hits the fan, which it is going to, because that's the whole thing in the comments, like shit hits the fan. And a lot of people die essentially. Um, my only gripe with that is because the seasons are so freaking short. I just hope it don't feel rush. Like even with Gen V, and I know it's not the boys, so you're not gonna have characters from the boys in Gen V, but even just like little glimpses of like they could have had Homelander come in there like one or two scenes, maybe even have him show up in the last two episodes. It's like little glimpse of like him just off his rocker, like it's just something. I get it, but I just feel like it would kind of set the stage for what's to come. But I'm with you. I'm thinking, of course, they're probably gonna have everything hit the fan. I just hope that they're able to do it efficiently and it don't feel like they're trying to just put so much in a few episodes or it doesn't seem rushed. Um, so yeah, that's my only gripe. I do think they're gonna have Polarity sort of have his like station at Godolkin University. And I'm sure he'll play a bigger part in the boys final season. I'm with you, like we talked about before. I think they was definitely going to get rid of him this season if Chance Bernona was still, with us. Unfortunately, they had to just sort of put him sort of that main spot. Because I think last season sort of felt like he was more of a recurring character. He seemed more like a main character in this season. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. I'm excited to see how they expand on Marie's powers. I think she may be. I think they're still going to need some help. I think Marie is going to be able to hold her own against Homelander. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think that's also why a lot of people are going to die. But I'm excited to see how they. And I'm also excited to see, or not excited. I won't say I ain't excited because I don't want nobody from Gen V to die. But I think realistically, we may even have some people from Gen V that don't make it from here. I know the creators were saying if the season 2 does well, they may do a season 3 of Gen V and sort of do like the aftermath of like the boys' final season and how everyone's doing. But I think we may have some people that don't make it.
Nah, for sure. I think it's gonna come down to sacrifice. It's gonna come down to just
Sure.
overall getting in the way or whatever have you. But yeah, some people gonna definitely get taken out or whatnot because in boys fashion, most of the time or whatever, most people you think is gonna be there, they knock them up out of there. So I wouldn't be surprised. And I mean, like I said, if this is gonna be the final for everything, then yeah, go balls out. Take out the people you need to take out because I mean, I feel like essentially if we're not going past this season, if we're not getting another season of Gen V, hey, case Ross Rah, let it all come down. So yeah, all out war. So make it essentially what you call it multiverse event.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, I would hope that they continue the universe of Gen V. I know it's sort of they use Gen V to sort of be like an extension of the boys to sort of help pivot us into this final season, which dope. But I hope that they do come out with a season 3. I don't know what. I honestly don't know what else they could do with it for real. For real. I mean, there's a lot they could do for it. Um, but that big threat won't be there, anymore with Homelander, because essentially they're gonna take care of that. So I don't know honestly what they could do unless it kind of becomes like a show where they have like villains here or there. Maybe they have like a big bad that they gotta sort of you know take care of. I mean, I'll take that back. I think there's things they could do for Gen V to continue it. I don't think they should like end it. I think I think they could continue it. But I'm with you. If they are going to not continue with a season 3, I think that hey, don't hold back. Like give us some shockers. Give us some, you know, I already know who pretty much isn't gonna survive in the boys. I'm definitely not. I for sure won't, spoil it on here, but I don't know who is gonna make it out of Gen V for sure. So, dude, give it to us.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, with the boys, I mean, since season one, the whole goal of the boys has been to take out Homelander. He's been the biggest bad since the beginning of season one or whatever have you. So however it's gonna go is how it's gonna go because I mean, you had May. What her name is Maeve.
Maeve.
Yeah, Queen Maeve. You had her. You thought she was almost up out of there. She survived. A lot of people that you thought wasn't gonna be here still ended up surviving or whatever have you. And then, like you said with Gen V, I mean, they probably could continue on if they wanted to. Maybe give them a solid 5 seasons, just like the boys got, or whatever have
Yeah.
you. But it's really gonna have to make sense because otherwise, you're just gonna drag on a superhero saved by the bell, and for what? You know what I mean? So, but like I said, I mean, that definitely does have potential. But like you said, once you take out a big bad, what's left? Um, so that's why I met with it essentially or whatever. Because you know, if we're looking at people that's gonna die or whatnot, I feel like Sam. I'm just gonna say that for me. I feel like Sam is gonna be one of the ones that go. If we're picking anybody from Gen V, he's gonna be one of the ones that go. Emma might make a sacrifice play, but end up still living. That's just my predictions. Um, and then even with that being said or whatever, I think at some point in the game, Stan is gonna come back on top. Out of all the dust, all the ash, he's gonna come back on top, and then everything's gonna go as it was before, and they're gonna keep the ball rolling. So that's my predictions.
Oh, for sure. And I wouldn't even be surprised if, like, after all this, he's like, okay, now here's the new team of the seven. And shoot, even may pull from people from Gen V. I'm with you. I wouldn't be surprised if Sam is got, because I'm not really understanding his purpose yet. Like I'm just not really understanding it just yet. Um, I'm with you. I think Emma may make like maybe it'll be like a fake out sort of sacrifice type thing. Jordan Lee, I don't know. I hope they do keep them in the show because I actually do like the character. Marie, I think Marie is we're locked into Marie. Her sister may get out of there, and I think that may unlock because I think she kind of was giving me and I know Godolkin was controlling her, but she kind of was giving me Scarlet Witch vibes or some like Wanda, like sort of those type of vibes when she's not herself. And again, I know Godolkin was controlling her, but I also think if they do take her sister out, I wouldn't be surprised if she kind of loses it for maybe a moment there and she just kind of just blacks out or something. I feel like they may set it up to be that way. I don't know. Those are my predictions.
I mean, they kind of foreshadowed it because she said she was expecting to see her sister die a horrible death or whatever have you. So, her herself, she
Mm.
foreshadowed, yeah. So she foreshadowed kind of what's going to happen or whatever have you. But what kind of, I ain't gonna say what pissed me off about her character, but just to find out you had powers this whole time. You've been making your sister feel like shit for the longest or whatever. And then on top of that, you was like, damn, I knew it was gonna happen. I knew mom and dad was gonna die, but I did nothing to stop it. It's like, what? Like, I was like, you knew the whole time. You made your sister feel like shit for all these years until telling her, sister, I got powers. I saw this coming. It's not your fault or whatever have you. Like, that's how I feel about it. But I do feel like between her and Sister Sage, they're gonna play a big role when it comes to the boys. Yeah, because
Mm.
if both of y'all have predictive type, what's the word I'm looking for? Not predictive. It's right down on the tip of my
You
tongue.
saying?
I lost it. But essentially with both their powers or whatever, if y'all have these predictive powers and y'all can kind of see what's going to happen in the future, I think it's going to play a big role. So I think they're going to play a bigger part than we know.
I'm so happy you touched on that. Because
Their
I was thinking the
voice.
same.
I tell you, no, I had to drop it out. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm so happy you touched on that because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, so if you gon' if you gonna sit here and I mean Marie has caught it from everybody. You knew this was gonna happen, so if she Marie better than me. I would have been like, so we need to be blaming you. Because if you knew this was going to happen, you never said anything. You just sort of let it happen. I guess you wasn't understanding your powers, but guess what? I didn't understand mine's either. It just happened. So give me some grace. Like, you know? So that definitely pissed me off. I felt like Marie and her sister were just too damn whiny for me too. Just super whiny. Um, and Marie really just got on my nerves this season. I hate that she kept trying to wander off, be go on this Lone Ranger type of thing. Like you need people around you. I'm with you. They definitely touched on that sort of Scarlet Witch, Wanda sort of thing when the sister. I don't even honestly. I think that vision wasn't accurate. I don't think that vision was meant to happen at that time. I think that vision will happen. I just don't think it's gonna happen that this season. I think it's gonna happen with the boys. So I'm with you. I definitely agree on that. And then also, I don't know if you remember when they were trying to stop her from going in by herself to go see Godolkin, and she lifted everybody up in the air. I saw glimpses of crazy bitch. Then I'm like, what you doing? So, so I definitely would not be surprised if she blacks out the boys. I think something probably is gonna happen to her sister. I think the vision that her sister saw her with the eyes and stuff like that, I don't think that was meant to happen at that moment. I think that's a far away vision. And I do think her sister was foul for how she treated Marie, especially when this whole time you got powers, you ain't even tell me nothing, but you on me, making me feel like a freak. And I can't control that. It was something that a natural woman situation happened, and I didn't even know Marie didn't even know herself she had powers until that moment. So yeah, it was foul. It definitely was foul. But overall, and this was I said I was gonna hold off to the end of our episode to touch on Marie. Definitely Marie got on my nerves this season. She pissed me off. It was too much. Her just always upset, people got to run after her. She's putting people in situations. I'm like, if it's not enough that because of you, Andre was in a situation he got into because you leaving people, then you leave again, man. And then it was her damn fault that Godolkin got what he wanted anyway. It was her fault. It was literally her fault. All she had to do was sit her little ass down somewhere. But no, you want to wander off thinking you know what you're doing, and you literally play right into Godolkin's hands. It's her fault. This is Marie. All of this is her fault.
I mean, but that just goes back to me talking about how there's no way to me that Godolkin didn't have other contingencies in his head because whole time he made you believe like he needed to be saved and he was your salvation if you was to make bring him back to life and everything like that and take out Homeland or whatever. So it was just like to me it was like certain situations like that. There's no way you plan that far ahead for her for you not to see these other things coming or whatever. You didn't live 100 years to die. Like that don't make sense. Like so with her limited information coming in there like you're gonna be the one to save us, right? Yeah. All right, bet. Boom. And then Kate like, wait a minute, nah, no, he's Cipher for real. We thought that was Cipher, but no, he's really Cipher or whatever. And it's funny because he let them get out of there. And to me, I was like, I mean, I know you just coming back into your skin and stuff like that or whatever. But I probably wouldn't let them leave if I'm as bad as I'm supposed to be. I probably wouldn't let them leave. So that whole dynamic was interesting. But she thought for sure like, yeah, if I save you, you can save us and blah blah blah. Whole time, baby girl, you the key. You trying to put other people in them places or whatever when you're the one that they need to be leaning on. You're the next one. They want you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you. It's like, I, for one, just me in this situation, I would not have jumped the gun. You don't know nothing about this cat. You don't know. So, okay, so he's the key to controlling soups. You don't think he'll try to control you? Like, it was just so many, like, just dumb decisions she made this season. I'm just like, bruh. Like, it's your fault. You don't got your friends caught up. I mean, I guess at the end, and that was another thing I want to touch on with you. Um, so I'm trying to figure out how Godolkin even got powerful enough. Cause I mean, of course I guess he was like training to see. he had brought the students in, and I guess that was his way of like training himself. So I guess he could become stronger to control Marie essentially. But I'm like, okay, you had like two sets of classes come in. Now, how all of a sudden you're able to control Marie? And then my second point is, I don't I honestly, because I thought it was just too easy that they got rid of Godolkin, unless the writers dropped the ball. I thought it was crazy how they just got rid of him that easily, and I'm thinking maybe he's still up there in Marie's mind somewhere. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised because it would make sense if what we're saying about the sister, her vision of we seeing Marie tweaked as well too, because it can go both ways. Maybe she blacks out because something happens, or maybe Godolkin's up there somewhere. I don't know. It could go both ways. So
I mean, if we're kind of putting together possibilities or whatever, I mean, if he's in fact not gone, he probably could have put his consciousness in the old girl, the one that can take all the powers, that the rogue essentially.
um,
So with her or whatever, so he could have easily maybe put his conscience into her or whatever have you, and continued on. But I mean, to your point, or whatever, he was trying to get strong enough to where he could control her. And even when Marie did come in or whatever, he was like, no, I'm not ready for you yet or whatever. I'm still, trying to I'm still trying to work this out or whatever. And I think it had something to do with like a mental break. I think he was looking for an opening that he couldn't find before. And I think at some point, with her being as angry as she was and things of that nature, he found it. He found the opening that he needed. He got inside and he started controlling her. Because I mean, with any type of mind manipulation, there has to be some type of flaw or defense that breaks down for them to get in there and do what they need to do and control a person or whatever have you. So for me, that's what I kind of felt. And I mean, and I guess to your point with the less powerful beings taking him over or whatever. I guess they try to make that a no, like it's not just super powerful that can be powerful. Like even the people with the lesser powers can be useful, and they were useful enough to take him down or whatever have you. But my thing is, if this guy could essentially take control of about what 8 people at once or whatever, how could he not take over these people unless it took all his willpower just to control Marie? And with that being said, with him losing that focus and then be able to get on to him, in a sense, it would kind of make it's kind of understanding because it takes so much of his mental energy to control her, and that's what
yeah,
and that's what they was banking on. That's what they was banking on. Put your focus on her so we can get you down. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I agree with your points, and you made a good point. Maybe there was, maybe even if it for a split second he saw an opening. Oh, there's my chance. But it goes into what I keep saying. I wish they would have expanded on that a little bit so I can know what the hell was going on. Because I was just kind of like, now at first you were saying Marie was too powerful. Now all of a sudden you're able to sort of lock in and get her. But I if that was indeed the case where he just saw an opening, he's like, oh, I wish they would have just explored that more or sort of explained that better for the viewers, us to see that because that's actually pretty dope. Even with Sister Sage, it goes back to what we were saying. I just want to know how Sister Sage was 10 steps ahead of all this. Like, because she seemed genuinely like upset that old dude's went off course. But I'm just like, you're Sister Sage. You're supposed to know all the possibilities of certain things happening. You supposed to be 100 steps ahead of people. So, yeah, yeah, I just feel like they could have maybe digged into that better. Um, but overall, I just think the ending was a little rushed for me, and I don't like how they just kind of got rid of Godolkin so easily because I felt like that was all that turned into. It first was like the rebellion or the resistance, then it kind of switched over to who is this guy? Is this Godolkin? And they really built him up to be this character, and I thought honestly, I didn't even think they was gonna kill Godolkin off in this show. I thought he was gonna kind of sort of carry over into the boys because they kept talking about, oh, he could be the one to kill Homelander or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I don't know, and maybe Marie's the person that maybe she took something from him, and maybe she knows how to control soups now. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, my thing is you don't live that long to just be taken out so easily, in my opinion. But like you said, it could be writers dropping the ball or whatever have you. But um, the guy that he controlled or whatever, that wasn't his first guy that he was controlling. Cipher essentially was the second guy he had control. So before then, he had another guy he was controlling or whatever that end up dying or whatever have you. Then he moved on to the next guy. But my thing is, you don't live and prep for that long to just get taken out like that. And then we don't even know the extent of him and Sister Sage's relationship. When did she come into the picture? Because Sister Sage herself isn't that old. So when did she come into the picture to become a part of his plan and lead him in the direction that he needed to go, or whatever have you? So like I said, it could have been a rush job, or there's more to it. But it just you don't plaster this man's name throughout 2 seasons and that be it. But
Mm-hmm.
I digress.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. That's why I'm like, it can't be the end of him. Like I really I hope it's not. And I hope it just wasn't, the writers being like, oh, here he is, here he's not. Because we know next season, Homelander is supposed to be the person they get after. But I really feel like Godolkin is the key to controlling Homelander and the whole thing. So I'm with you. You don't just Godolkin. We've been hearing that name. We've been hearing that name. We've been hearing that name. So why would y'all introduce him just to take him away like that? It's something deeper. I think I would have loved to seen it this season, but maybe they're waiting to the final season of The Boys to show the backstory of Sister Sage and how this whole thing came together. That would be dope if they started out the season that way, showing us like how this all came together, so everything sort of ties in. But yeah, um, yeah, I think just overall the season it was a pretty good season. I think for what they had to work with, I think they did a solid job. It wasn't perfect obviously, but for the most part, I think they did a pretty solid job. I'm excited to see how everything hits the fan, and I hope they tie up a lot of loose ends in this season and tie it up in okay. Yeah, just to wrap up my response, yeah, I'm just that's what I'm looking forward to. Is getting some more backstory and for them to tie up some loose ends in season 5 of The Boys. And I think it's gonna be a crazy ride. I'm excited to see Soldier Boy come back. If they bring him back, Queen Maeve, that'll be dope to see her. Um Dang, who else? And so many other people as well too that I'm excited to see. So I think it's gonna be a dope season. I'm hoping for it anyway. I think this, Gen V season 2 is just sort of the 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 step up into the final season of The Boys. So yeah, overall solid job. Of course, it's not perfect, but nothing ever is. Um, I think they did great for what they had to work with.
I mean, yeah, for sure. And like I said, as they wrap up, we just hope to see some new things come down the pipeline or whatever have you. Do we know how many seasons that's gonna be or no? No, we don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the only reason I say that is I'm hoping. I mean, I doubt it, but I'm hoping they at least give us a solid 12. The blurred in me want a full 14, but hey, hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take 12 or whatever have you. But like we said in the past, it used to be where you would have hour long episodes and things of that nature. You had that mid season break and then come on back and things of that nature. I feel like that's to me that's when shows used to be really good. And I feel like they kind of need to get back to that. But that's where essentially Gen V was kind of be a placeholder for at the time. So like I said, we'll just see how it is when they wrap everything up. Hopefully, everything comes together cohesively, and they bang it out with the final season.
Oh, for sure. I'm with you. I'm like, hey, I honestly don't even. I think they should split it up and to give us two parts, like two-part seasons, because I really don't want them to rush it, and I don't want them to squeeze it in 8 or 10 episodes. I want you like stretch it out to 12. Shoot, give us like you said 14 if possible. Shoot, give me even more. I don't care, but it's just hey nowadays it's just 8 to 10 episodes, sometimes even six, and it's over with. So, you know we'll just hope for the best, and hopefully they just they bring it. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. uh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, but I mean, like I said, that's really all I had of it. That's the only things I could, as far as the things I pulled out, I think I pulled out everything I could think of. That was like one of those things I was trying to hold to the show. Um, but yeah, outside of that, I think to me, I feel like we normally give a good prediction of what things should be or whatnot. So, hopefully we just get the kid back and see it manifest or whatever have you. So that's what I'm waiting for.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we covered everything, honestly. Like we always say, if y'all have not seen it, shoot, honestly, I was thinking about re-binging The Boys from the very beginning, just so, and I'll probably wait till close to season five is about to come out, just so I can have a refresher, because I typically always do that anyway. And yeah, if you haven't seen The Boys, I don't know what you've been doing with your life, but go watch it. And definitely watch season two of Gen V, excuse me, and yeah, let us know what y'all think.
Yep, for sure. But yeah, but that's all I have on my end.
Okay.
Hmm.
With that being said, y'all, I think we're gonna call it a night. We thank y'all for joining us. I think after this we should be doing Dairy, which is the series. Uh, R.I.P. to them babies.
Boy,
Them babies been going through it, man.
I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far. Like to me, the show's a little bit better than the actual movie, but yeah, they getting
That
to it. The first episode was just getting to it. I was just like, what? Yeah,
part. What the?
yeah. First episode was getting to it, so yeah, y'all buckle in for that one because yeah, it's wild.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. We're gonna take tackle that. I don't think there's anything else going on as far as shows coming out. We'll have to double check on that, but you guys already know. If there's a show or a movie come out, we're definitely gonna do a review on it. I think My Hero Academia is currently streaming, so if you guys want a review of that, let us know. But yeah, y'all, it was good. Oh, you got something to say?
No, I was just piggybacking off what you're saying. Yeah, My Hero is dropping, and then also Stranger Things. The final season for Stranger Things is dropping November 26th, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah,
Dope, dope, dope. Yeah. But yeah, y'all, thanks for rocking with us. If you guys want more of us, you guys already know what to do. This was your co-host Shalon, and this is your co-host.
K1.
All right, and we'll be back.
All right, y'all take it easy. Peace. Stop.